Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of our Virtual Directors Exchange. I'm Sabrina Nicola, and I'm the Eastern Regional Director at Encore Tours. I'm very honored to be joined today by two distinguished musicians, Dr. David Grandis and Arnaud Schultz, both from the beautiful country of France, a place I also hold very dear to my heart. David is the Director of Orchestras at the College of William & Mary, as well as the Music Director of the Virginia Chamber Orchestra. Arnaud is a professor of trumpet and director of the brass ensemble at the Lyon Music Conservatory in France, as well as an international soloist, educator, chamber musician, and orchestra member. During this unprecedented time, we want to remember that we live in a global society and reinforce the importance of staying connected with fellow musicians around the world. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Arnaud, I'd like to start by asking how things are going in France right now, and what should Americans know about your situation that we might not be seeing on the news at the moment?
So just for right now, the conservatories in France are closed and have been closed for several weeks, almost 6 weeks. And so we do have to keep the contact with our students, and it's not very easy for us because we were not very well prepared, and so we have to keep teaching through some different kinds of applications like Zoom or WhatsApp, and it's quite hard to have to teach with this kind of things, because I think it's we lose the human relationship between the teacher and the student. So it's not very easy for us to do it, but anyway, we try to keep doing this as good as we can. And for right now, all the cultural activity is closed in the country. Of course, no orchestra gives any concert through the in France, I mean, and it's quite hard for everybody to just keep practicing, have a goal during the day, and keep playing, because there's no concert, and we don't know when we are going to go back.
Yeah, it must be a very difficult time. I can't imagine, for sure, especially as you know, with music and having an ensemble, it must be very difficult. David, I would like to just get your thoughts on how you're staying connected with your students, and especially your orchestral students. That must be quite a challenge.
Yes, so I'm teaching 2 classes this semester. I teach music theory, and that is no problem to teach on Zoom. But for the orchestra, obviously, that wasn't possible. There has been a video that you can see on YouTube. I think it's Orchestre National de Paris or Radio France, I can't remember. They recorded the Bolero, Ravel's Bolero, and but they recorded it through Zoom. You know, each musician being at home. But since the internet connection is completely unreliable, this was actually not possible to play it live. So they all recorded themselves separately, and then a sound engineer put everything back together. And so this shows that it's absolutely not possible to have a student ensemble meeting through Zoom and doing anything that is of quality, because the essence of a music ensemble is to be together, obviously, and it's a human contact and reacting. Also, it's not a question only of playing in rhythm and having a box, that it gives you the rhythm and we all play together. It's also a question of adapting your intonation to the sound that is surrounding you. And obviously through a computer, this is not possible. So what I've done is that I gave them some little homework to do, like watching famous performances, historical concerts, or lectures of Sergiu Celibidache, or writing an essay on Vladimir Jankelevich and something like that, you know. And so they would think about music, they would listen to also technical videos on YouTube for the string players, for the trumpet player, for everything about breathing, position, and of the bow, and different things, shifting on the bow, and things like that. But that's good for a couple of weeks, obviously. For half a semester, that's fine. To do an entire semester like that is I don't know. It's gonna be some kind of killjoy, you know. I mean, people kind of get really motivated by that. You know, it's kind of cold, obviously. So yeah.
Some great points and advice on how to stay connected with your students in your ensemble, but I can see it being, after a while, being very challenging. Absolutely. I don't know what have you seen in terms of trends in France? I know a lot of schools in the US have gone to virtual learning online. Is that also happening in France? How are things? What are the trends there in terms of learning online?
Yeah, it's quite hard. For us, the semester is not yet done, because we still have to keep teaching from 2 other months until the beginning of July. So as David said, for like 4 or 5 weeks, that was okay, just to try to find some things to do with the students, to give them some video to watch on, or some music to listen to. But right now we just realized that we will have to keep teaching for 2 more months in this with this situation, and it's quite hard to do it. So the thing is that we and my other colleagues as well try to give some brass lessons with the video in live, and it's quite hard, because you have to make like a big gesture to the student to say stop, I want to do something. And so anyway, and it's not like a real lesson as we used to do, because it's like you have to comment just what the student is doing. It's not you know that the relationship between the teacher and the student is very important. The accuracy of the sound and everything, the perception of the sound you can have, it's very quite hard to get it through your computer or your cell phone. So it's difficult, and we just realized that we will have to keep teaching in this situation and with this, and I think we will have to rethink about how giving good lessons and captivants listen to you know what I mean, like a good lesson, so when you can have everything that we used to give to the students. So I don't really know right now what I'm going to do, but I think we just found some a way to teach for right now. We ask some videos to the students. We receive them and watch them, and to give an answer to the students. I tape myself giving a lesson with some excerpts of what the students just played, and just explain some things and send him the video I just taped, just to explain him what I need and what I want for the next lesson. And I used to give hour lessons to my students. So I just decided to split in 30 in 2 lessons a week, just to listen 2 times to my students. Once at the beginning of the week, and another time at the end of the week.
Thank you. Thank you. That's really interesting and helpful information to see how you're handling this and encouraging your students to still be sharp with their and learn, continue to learn. So a question for you both on a personal level. What do you miss the most at this point as musicians, either be it with your students or as professionals? What do you miss the most at this time?
Obviously, the music making, but I don't know. It's very. I couldn't say what comes first: the music making or being with people and being with my musicians and playing music together. It goes together. Obviously, I can play music on my own, but it's not the type of music that I want to do. I want to do the music that needs other people, and this is what I'm missing. Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. No, how about you?
Okay, for me, it's just the life we created with my students during all through the trumpet lessons I can give them. I used to give some lessons with the group of 5 or 6 students, and so I get the lessons during 6 hours. So we have 3 hours in the morning, the time to have the lunch all together, and after that, during the afternoon, we went back to play trumpet all together, and so I miss these moments with them of sharing things and the human relationship between me and my students, of course. And I miss my pianist accompanist as well, because every week we used to listen to the students, and she accompanied them through the repertoire, and we made very nice music all together. And so I miss to play music with everybody and sharing things with them.
Great. And David, could you, being from France originally, when things go back to normal, and we can travel again, where would you recommend ensembles go to in France? What are some of your favorite places to visit? And I'll ask the same of you, Arno, so you can think about that as well. But what are some of the places that you would love to go with your ensemble, or advise for other ensembles to go to?
Yeah, I'm glad that you asked this question. People always go to Paris, obviously, because it's the capital and everybody knows Paris, and they want to discover Paris and so forth. But, and I'm not saying that because Arno is from Lyon, but Lyon is a superb city. It's really fantastic. There is a downtown that is absolutely charming between the 2 rivers, the Saône and the Rhône. Obviously, lots of history there, extremely rich culturally, and there is a possibility to go very easily in the Alps and very easily in the Massif Central, which is equally beautiful. So, and plenty of concert venues. And I would say that would be a great choice to organize travels there. And my second idea would be Alsace, and would be Strasbourg, and all this region in the east, between Strasbourg and Colmar and all this region. It's really, really fantastic. and it's not very difficult to do that with a loop with Paris, because the train is very fast in France. We have this fast train, and it's totally possible to do a loop, which is not the case if you go to Toulouse, which is much further away, or even worse is Brittany, which is fantastic, but the fast train doesn't go that far, if I remember correctly, right? Maybe it goes to Rennes. I'm not even sure it goes to Rennes, but and then that's really the beginning, and you have to go further. And this is great regions, but I think Lyon is much, much, much better.
Yes, it's true. I agree with you, David. No, I think Lyon is very nice because, as you told, is a strategic city in France where you can go everywhere. It's just 2 hours away from Paris if you take the fast train, the TGV, and it's just 1 hour and 30 minutes from the south coast of Marseille, and like the landscapes there are very, very nice, very beautiful, like Cassis, and there are very nice spots there. And yes, Lyon is the second city of France. It depends if you speak about the people or the activity, but with Marseille is always the war between the two cities. But yes, I think you can tour wherever you want once you're in Lyon, and so that's why I used to organize a lot of concerts and events with some bands who come from United States and go through Lyon to organize something with me, and after that they are going to south of France to go to Italy or in Spain, and it's always a very good opportunity for me and my students to meet people and share musical projects with them. Mm-hmm. So yes, come to Lyon next time.
Fantastic. I also love Lyon. I think it's a wonderful city. So I couldn't agree more.
I've worked in Lyon for quite a few years actually, and I really miss the city. It was about 7 years ago, maybe just before you came to the conservatory. If it was in 2013, this was the last time I worked with Lyon Opera. That was for Capriccio, Strauss Capriccio, and that was in 2013, I think.
Yeah, I just arrived in 2012, so maybe we just missed that.
Yeah. So moving on to a few questions that are kind of shorter answer, a little bit lighter and fun. I would love to know, David, what has been your favorite venue to perform in or conduct in your career?
There's a couple, but I really loved La Halle au Grain in Toulouse, and with Encore Tour, actually, the student orchestra from William and Mary went to Paris. It was in 2017, I think it was 3 years ago. And you organized for us a concert at La Madeleine in Paris. And obviously the sound is huge, but lots of reverberation. But I really loved it, obviously, because I'm a big fan of Fauré, and to play in the place where Fauré was playing the organ was something special, obviously. So I really loved this location too. But the one I would like to try, because I've attended some concerts there and the acoustic was fantastic, was L'Arsenal, which is a concert hall in Metz, and absolutely superb, all in wood, and it's a shoebox design, and the sound is very vivid, really, really beautiful acoustics.
I lived in Metz for 1 year and attended many concerts there actually. So I can imagine to be a performer there would be incredible, or to conduct there. It's a beautiful venue. Absolutely. And Arnaud, same question for you. I'm curious, what has been your favorite venue that you performed in, and where would you love to perform in in the future?
Yeah, I have some of good memories. The first one is when I used to be I used to be a student at the Yale University, and we had to go to New York City to give a concert at the Avery Fisher Hall with the Moscow Orchestra, because we had to play for the fanfare in the Aida opera. So that was very impressive for me to be there and to play in New York City. So and the concert hall was just very, very nice, and very the acoustic was very good, and it was a good memory. And I have a very we have a very nice concert hall in France. It's not very well known, but it calls La Grange au Lac, near Evian. It's a city in the Alps, just in front of the lake, le lac Léman, and it's very, very nice. It has been built by Rostropovich, the cellist, and the acoustic is very, very nice, because everything is in wood with the trees. You can have the trees on the stage, and it's very real, but it's very, very nice, and all the seats are in wood, everything is in wood, and it's very nice, very, very pretty. And if I had the choice to perform somewhere, maybe I just have the dream to go once, maybe in Australia, to see the opera there in Sydney, and I just love to go there and just maybe listen to a concert, or maybe perform once. But yeah, that's one of my dreams.
Fantastic. Great. Yeah, that's an incredible hall. I would love to go there as well. It's a dream. So this is kind of a fun question. If you had to be quarantined with one musician, could be someone who's alive or passed away, who would that be? Arnaud, should we start with you?
Yeah, I can answer first. With the trumpet player Alison Balsom. She's from London, and she's very, very very fantastic, very nice trumpet player, and I love her way of playing, her way of phrasing, the bouncing on the notes and everything when she plays. I think she can play everything from Baroque until contemporary music. And when I used to be a student at the Paris Conservatory, she was there for an exchange program with London. And I know she doesn't remind me, but I remind her very well, because she was incredible at this time as well, and she already played very, very well, and yeah, I was very inspired by her when I listened to her trumpet lessons. So yeah, maybe.
Fantastic. Thank you. And David, how about you? Do you have an idea?
Yeah, I have several ideas. I mean, I'm obviously a huge fan of one of my favorite violinists is Christian Ferras. So yeah, but to be confined with a musician for a long time, I don't know that stuff. It depends. If you want to be productive and work a lot, Nadia Boulanger, that would be fantastic. I mean, you can be sure that you would be very productive and work a lot. It would be hell. but fantastic. But if you want to have fun, maybe I don't know, Emmanuel Chabrier would be better. So yeah.
Yeah, that's that's a good point. You know, productive or fun. That is true. And
Even staying with your family confined for several days, you know, is tough. So a musician that you don't really know, you might admire this person, but still living with this person is different.
that's very true. And just like kind of a more personal questions for you as we wrap things up. Um, how did you, at what point in your lives, when you were children growing up, did you know that music was your passion and what you wanted to pursue, and how did that start? Was it with the music lessons or at school? I'm just curious how music became your passion in your lives. Anno, could we start with you, please?
Okay. I just started playing the trumpet when I was 12, and I was in wind ensemble because I come from the north of the France, and it's very common in this area, in this region, to have a lot of wind ensembles there. And I just played like this, and I just wanted to go further, and so I decided to go to the music conservatory near my village, and I just met this fantastic trumpet teacher that just changed my life. And I was turning, I think, 15, and I just got the chance to be with him for 2 years. And so when I was 17, I just decided that music just chose me, and I don't have the feeling that I've chosen the music, but I have the feeling that the music just chose me.
Mm.
And I was in the scientific fields, and I wanted to become airplane pilot. That was my dream when I was young. But I just changed my mind, and I said, yeah, I want to play the music, and I want to play the trumpet, and so that's why I just decided to go to the Lille Conservatory before going to the Paris one, and just things just came like this, and that's why I think I chose to become a musician.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. And David, how about you? How did it start for you?
Well, my father made me discover jazz when I was 5. This is the very first music I listened to was jazz, and it was Oscar Peterson, the pianist, and I became obsessed with this and started piano when I was 5.5 or 6. And later, I loved Glenn Miller and Duke Ellington and Herbie Green so much that I started trombone when I was 10. So I did both instruments. In the meantime, I discovered classical, and I was extremely passionate about classical as well. A growing passion actually that went beyond my passion for jazz. And I had other plans to, but for a career, but I decided to try conducting after my high school diploma. So I had my conservatory degrees and went to study conducting with different people and continued my studies, in conservatories in the States, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, I mean, this passion, I knew I had it in me very early, but I didn't know that I wanted to make a career out of it, necessarily that young.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I'm always interested to know how musicians get their start and where the passion comes from, and it's also often at a very young age.
And it's always scary, and it's mostly scary for the parents, because the parents will say, "Oh my God, you're never gonna make a living," and they want you to do so. My parents wanted me to study law, so I went to because my sisters are all lawyers. I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm the only one who is not a lawyer, and I studied a little bit and said, no, I can't. I can't do both. You can't do both well. Music, you need to practice the instrument so much, and there were so many hours with theory, with choir practice, with conducting, with the trombone, piano, violin after, because I did violin too. I mean, it was impossible to reconcile both things. And it's why it's scary for parents, because especially in France, I don't know how it has evolved now in France, but at least in the States, you can do a performance degree at the university, but if it doesn't quite work, you can very easily reconvert yourself, change the majors, or do a minor, and try to find a job, like arts administration or something like that. Whereas in France, when I left, it was the conservatory and the degrees for the conservatory, from the conservatory, and to become a professional musician, or musicology, and then you can teach maybe music in college, I mean middle school, or high school, or teach at the university level if you go up to the doctorate. But nothing at that time. I think it has changed now, but at that time the conservatory and the universities weren't linked, so it wasn't possible to have a performance degree at the university. It was only at the conservatory, so a little bit scary, yeah, for parents.
That was exactly the same thing for me, because my dad used to be a math teacher, and so he wanted me to be in the scientific field, and I said, but you can live with the music. And I was, yeah. And my older brother is an scientific and engineer, so maybe he wanted me to follow him in his field, this field. But yeah, I just chose when I just graduated from high school to choose music, and that was quite hard to tell that to my parents. But they agreed with me, and they allowed me doing the thing I wanted to do. So and hopefully the things were okay for me. So yeah, that was good. Good choice.
Exactly, it is important to follow your passion and what you love to do. It's really important. So thank you for sharing those stories. I really find it really interesting, and how you find your passion, and how you in your what you want to do with your life and become a professional. It's very interesting, and appreciate your time today. I think this wraps up our exchange, and I wanted to thank you both so much for your time and for your willingness to participate and to to share your stories, and to hopefully get us through this difficult time. And when we all get back to making music and attending live performances, I think we'll all appreciate it that much more having gone through this. So, thank you, David. Thank you, Anna, so very much. We really appreciate it.
For inviting us, and yeah, it was very interesting to share things, and especially with David.
Yeah, nice to meet you. It was great to talk with you.
It was great to talk to you too.
Thanks to our guests, David Grandis and Arno Schotz, for joining us today. Speaking with musicians from around the globe serves as a reminder that we're all in this together, and we're all facing the same concerns. We're also reminded that it's a big world out there filled with opportunity. One day, hopefully very soon, Travel will return and we'll get back to some sense of normalcy. When that time comes, we'll be there to serve the unique needs of you and your ensemble. Thanks so much for watching and stay safe out there.